This might just be the best budget tablet of 2025. The Lenovo Idea Tab isn't just affordable, it's coming for the budget tablet of the year crown. And the best part, we even get the Lenovo Stylus right out of the box. But is it really worth the hype? That's exactly what we're gonna find out today, so that you don't miss the biggest steal of the season. My name is Prithviraj and I create videos on productivity, tech, and life. Before we dive into its performance and the stylus experience, let us start with the basics, and that is the design of this tablet. Look and feel wise, the Lenovo Idea Tab actually looks quite a lot like its older brother, which is the Lenovo Idea Tab Pro. So please don't get confused between the two tablets, they both are separate. The design language is really clean and the in-hand feel is great. We have both Wi-Fi and 5G variants of this tablet, so in case you needed cellular connectivity, it will have you covered. We have the speaker grills and the power button on top. No fingerprint scanner though, but yeah, we do have face unlock with this one. On the right, we have the volume buttons and also a micro SD card slot. Expandable storage is always a great addition. On the bottom, we again have the speaker grills and the USB Type-C port, of course, as well as a headphone jack. On the left, we have the magnetic pins for connecting different accessories like those keyboard folio cases and stuff like that. At the back, we have this clean Lenovo branding with duotone colors and of course the rear camera. And now let's talk about the most important aspect of any tablet, and that is their display. The Lenovo Idea Tab features an 11-inch LCD display with a resolution of 2560 by 1600 pixels, as in it's a 2.5K display. It has a 16:10 aspect ratio, which gives you more usable vertical space, something you'll appreciate while reading long PDFs or scrolling through notes. And the best part is that it has a display refresh rate of 90Hz, even at this pricing. Rather, the latest iPad 11 Gen as well as the iPad Air has a refresh rate of 60Hz only, and that costs a lot more than this. And the funny thing here is that its big brother, the Lenovo Idea Tab Pro, features a peak brightness of 400 nits. If you have seen that video of mine, then you might remember me complaining about the brightness as it really felt dim. But thankfully, Lenovo gave us an upgrade here. The Lenovo Idea Tab has a peak brightness of 500 nits, which feels a lot better in comparison. Overall, the display feels vibrant and the text is sharp. And talking about the sound, we get a quad speaker setup with Dolby Atmos. In terms of loudness, this tablet is quite loud, so no issues with that. But these are of course not the best sounding speakers. The mid frequencies feel a bit muffled, especially while listening to music, and it lacks the punch in the low frequencies. Dialogues would be clear, but it lacks in terms of bass, as I just mentioned. But as an overall package, it works decently. So in case you wanted to get a tablet primarily for media consumption, it will work out great. You're gonna have a great time binge watching your favorite shows on Netflix and my videos on YouTube. It really excels in that aspect. But before we talk about the performance of this tablet, I would really appreciate if you could consider hitting that subscribe button, and I promise to keep creating more such videos. Now let's get into the business end of the tablet and let's talk about their performance. Under the hood, the Lenovo Idea Tab packs the MediaTek Dimensity 6300 chipset paired with 8 gigs of RAM. In terms of storage, it comes with 256 gigs UFS storage, and not to forget, we get a micro SD card slot as well, so it will have you covered in that aspect. Performance wise, we can't really express our flagship level metrics here, so here are the benchmarks on Geekbench in case you're into stuff like that. Here's the truth, it's not a fast tablet. For basic tasks like watching videos, going through your notes, or browsing the web, it's totally fine. But if you're planning to use heavy apps or switching between multiple tasks rapidly, this tablet will slow down massively. Apps often take a while to load. Software wise, the Lenovo Idea Tab is running on a skinned version of Android 15 called the Lenovo ZUI. However, my real world experience is mixed. The software is laggy and it stutters a lot. You will notice that when you quickly slide through your home screen, animations often lag at times and frames drop when you don't expect them to. And sometimes even the simplest things like rotating the screen can take a second longer than you expect. Like here, I was really struggling in that aspect to get the screen orientation right. This was an issue I faced with the Redmi Pad 2 as well, which has very similar specs. I will be uploading a comparison between the Redmi Pad 2 and the Lenovo Idea Tab next week, so stay tuned for that. But in short, it won't provide you with the best experience in terms of software, as it's not really optimized, hence the stutter. In terms of software update, I didn't really find any official sources speaking of how many updates it will receive, but on a general rule of thumb, based on the past updates, it will most likely receive 2 major Android upgrades, followed by a few security patches, which is actually great considering it's a budget tablet. If you wanted to play games occasionally, it's possible, but only at medium settings. I tried Asphalt, BGMI, COD Mobile and a few others. It runs, but after a while the device starts heating up and the frame rate takes a dip. If you're a serious gamer, this isn't your go-to device. And in case you wanted to do some video editing here, then to be honest, I won't really recommend it. You can get basic cuts done and maybe add a bit of text in your videos, but try anything fancy and it will start to struggle. It can handle basic 1080p videos or maybe Instagram Reels for the most part, but if you wanted to do full-fledged editing on this device, like editing a proper YouTube video perhaps, then I'm sorry to say this tablet won't make the cut. It will lag a lot while doing so and will definitely start heating up a lot. But in case you wanted to edit photos on apps like Lightroom and Canva, then you can get that done quite nicely, as it won't be processor heavy like video editing. So for photo editing, this tablet clears it. Let's talk about the cameras. The Lenovo Idea Tab features an 8 megapixel rear camera and also a 5 megapixel front camera. So this is what the front camera looks like. It's nothing great here. The lights are kind of flickery and stuff. So for attending on meetings and video calls, it should work out fine, but nothing more than that. So it's just the basic camera that has to be there. The battery life was surprisingly good here on the Lenovo Idea Tab. It features a 7040 mAh battery. It also comes with a 20-watt charger right out of the box. I was getting a screen on time of about 8 to 9 hours with moderate usage, and about 10 hours when I'm only browsing and watching videos. And the idle time battery management was surprisingly good. You can just leave it lying around for a couple of days and it will still do just fine. Now, if you are a student and your primary looking for a budget tablet for note taking, then this is where things get interesting. Also, we'll be discussing the digital art aspect as well. We get the Lenovo Stylus inside the box, so that's always a great addition. But there are a few things I need to point out about the Stylus before we talk about the handwriting experience. Firstly, take a look at the Stylus. It's not the most premium feeling stylus that I've ever used. That's fine, but until you take a look at this thing over here. As you can see, when I unscrewed the stylus, it is running on a AAA battery, so it's clearly not rechargeable. You can of course swap the batteries whenever necessary, but that's one extra add-on you'll have to keep in mind, especially in case you are traveling, just to make sure that you never run out of charge. I have been using it for a week now, and so far I haven't had to change the battery yet, so that's a good sign. Now, speaking of the note-taking experience itself, it kind of feels like writing on plastic, not very precise. But the good thing is that it came with 3 different note-taking apps pre-installed: Nebo, Squid, and also the default Notepad app by Lenovo. And being very honest, skip all the other apps. Nebo is the best one you can get in that aspect. If you have seen my past videos about the best note-taking apps, I always mention that Nebo offers one of the best handwriting experience. The writing here feels super smooth and you can get so much done on this app. You can import your PDFs and work on them directly in here. Like, I have loaded up my daily planner template and have been managing my tasks inside that. Also, Nebo has one of the best handwriting to text conversion feature that I've ever seen on any app. If it can transcribe my ugly handwriting, it will handle yours just fine. But speaking of the overall feel while writing, like I said, it feels very plasticky, not the most natural feeling stylus experience. Hence, I recommend you only take a look at premium note-taking apps like Notewise, Flexil and the rest. They will help you mask off the unnatural feel. Else, simply stick to using Nebo. It will give you the best experience in comparison. But if you're into digital art, however, this tablet isn't really for you. It lacks the precision required for creating digital art, and that plasticky feeling will really bother you, my friend. But if you just want to take class notes and casually write stuff down, it will work well for that aspect. Try and avoid using the default Notepad app by Lenovo, as the writing experience isn't really the best here. This tablet can be a letdown for serious note takers, as in if you have to work with hundreds of pages of notes and PDFs, it will often start to struggle, as the processor is not powerful enough to keep up with your heavy workbooks. So here's a screenshot of the current pricing of the Lenovo Idea Tab on Amazon India for both the cellular as well as the Wi-Fi variants. For the price, this tablet offers a fair share. Now that we have covered a lot about this tablet, so what's the verdict? Should you buy the Lenovo Idea Tab or perhaps check some other options? Before I share my opinion, here's a quick summary of the drawbacks of this tablet. Firstly, the software is very laggy and stutters a lot, and that will most likely affect your everyday tasks. The stylus uses a physical battery which needs to be replaced and not recharged, and that can be really inconvenient in day-to-day life. And the writing experience is okay-ish. It's usable and perfectly fine for basic notes, but not the buttery and the ultra-precise pen feel that I often look for. And also, the processor will have a very hard time keeping up with the heavy notebooks. But now that we have talked about the cons, let us talk about where this tablet shines. The display is actually quite great for this price. So for media consumption, browsing the web, and for reading through your PDFs, this will work out really nicely. It actually has great brightness when compared with many other tablets on the market. Even the battery life here on this tablet is amazing. So that's one headache off your back. And as for note taking, if you quickly needed to note something down or create a few pages of your class notes, then it surely excels in that aspect. This can be a great device for attending your online classes and meetings. But all in all, what sets it apart is the value for money aspect. This tablet is clearly a steal in terms of that. So is this the best budget tablet of 2025? In a way, it surely is. It checks many boxes, and the stylus is a great addition to that. Let me know what you think about this tablet in the comments. But in case you can push your budget a bit more higher, you should definitely check out its big brother, the Lenovo Idea Tab Pro, or even other options like the Xiaomi Pad 7. Click here on this video, and over there we have compared the Xiaomi Pad 7 and the Lenovo Idea Tab Pro in more details. See you there.